Hi everyone, welcome to Border Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is the Tier 8 Chinese Premium Tank, the 112. 112 is a Tier 8 heavy tank, Chinese Premium heavy tank, as I said. It's been driven today by Nightsight from AAS Claim, and he's lucky enough to be top tier in this battle on Overlord. Nightsight's going exactly where the heavy tanks normally go on this map, up to the 4 line, where he's going to try and have a look at the enemy heavy tanks as well as whatever else presents itself, and let's see how he can go. I don't have this tank, the Chinese 112, but after watching this replay I'm tempted to buy it next time it comes on sale. Anyway, Nightsight is getting himself into a reasonably aggressive spot. He's leading the charge, but some of the other heavy tanks are coming his way. A lot of heavy tanks on both sides in this battle, so he needs to be a little bit wary, or at least aware of where the other tanks are. Bounces 2 shots from, I think one was from the T29 and one was possibly from the T34. He waits for the gun to reload. Fires again, unlucky to bounce again. He had 2 shots at that T29's upper hull, but didn't manage to penetrate either shot. But he's bouncing a bit of damage already. Again, unlucky not to get the damage, but he does track the T29. Now, there's no artillery in this game. If there was artillery in this game, I'd be very, very hesitant to get into the position that Nightsight's got himself into. But he knows there's no arty on the enemy side, so he can confidently come out here and dish out a bit of damage, and of course light the enemy tanks up as well. Unlucky for that shot not to land. Now you might be thinking, Stewie, what are you doing putting this replay up? He hasn't landed a shot yet. He has bounced a hell of a lot of damage already, but he has lost almost half of his health. He's lost 600 hit points. Backing up a little bit just to try to remain, trying not to risk any more of his health. He bounces a T29 again. But the armour is holding up. He is bouncing more shots than he's taking. He's just searching for a shot on that IS. And he finally picks up 341 hit points damage to the IS. Takes a few more shots, but again, none of those shots do any damage. But he does need to be mindful of his hit points, because he's the top tier heavy tank. He does need to do some of the work, but he needs to also stay alive. Bounces a few more shots and misses again, but there is a hell of a lot of enemy tanks, over here, and he's definitely keeping them all entertained, but he needs to start putting some damage in now. Gets a shot into the T34. And again, he takes more shots, but they're not doing damage. I never thought the 112 was that heavily armoured, but he is in a pretty good hold down position. And of course, having no artillery on the enemy side is a pretty big advantage when you're in a heavy tank. It means you can take positions that you might not normally take. Gets a better roll against the IS that time, picking up another 400 odd damage, and the T34's kindly giving him the side of his turret, but he knows that one's not going to penetrate, so he holds back on the shot. If he had a shot that T34 a little bit earlier, that would have went through, but then the T34 correctly angled his turret so that the shot wouldn't go through. Takes out the dangerous Tiger 2, top tier 8 tank on the enemy side. And of course he's taken a bit of damage to his gun, and now he needs to do something about this T29. So T29, well, he was on full health a minute ago. Put about 400 damage into the T29 from the shot and from the ram, but then the T29 gets taken out by the low, which is still hanging around, and now he's just looking for a shot on the T34. Unlucky not to land that first shot, but his teammates finished the job for him, and evens the score back up at 9 apiece. Now he's noticed that KV4, which was going all the way along the beach, has come right around That shot was never going to do any damage to the KV4, but he's given himself a good angle with the carcass of that tank. Zooms in, just misses the machine gun port on the KV4, which would have been a good place to get it, being a weak spot. But now he's just peeking down. He's hoping this shot lands, and it does. They need to get rid of this KV4 if they're any chance at all of winning this game. You can see the Tiger 1 on the minimap is in a little bit of a strife, getting flanked by the T-44-100 and the Indian Panzer, the two Tier 8 medium tanks. And Nightsight's team, even though he hasn't had a bad game so far with 2,600 damage, his team is in a little bit of bother. He doesn't want to land that shot from the KV2. The KV2 shoots and misses, and there's a troll armour of the KV2. Bounces a shot from Nightsight in his 112. Now Nightsight's down to 529 hit points here. He needs to bear that in mind as he goes back to get some damage onto the Indian Panzer as well as that T-44-100. And he's aiming, hoping that Indian Panzer pokes around, but the Tiger 2 does their job, takes the Indian Panzer out of the game. They're only down by one tank now to score 11-12, and Nightsight is slowly creeping up. He still has a damaged gun, but he's already used his repair kit, so his shots are not going to be that accurate, especially at a distance. But he can't really afford to close the distance because he only has 500 hit points of damage here. The Tiger 2 doing the right thing and sticking with Nightsight. Try to work together to get rid of these enemy tanks. Nightsight puts a blind shot towards where the T-44-100 was last seen. But he has to be mindful of the KV2 and the Tiger P, which could be anywhere. So he's going back up the 4 line just to make sure that he's not going to get flanked, and the Tiger 2 is not going to get flanked. Finally gets a shot into the KV2. Did take a little bit of damage from the KV2. He's down to 235 hit points of damage now, and he knows his reload should beat the KV2, but as his gun reloads, he's not really in a position to shoot. Auto aims at the KV2, lucky for that shot to go in. And now's the time to be aggressive on the T6 Russian derp heavy tank, because his reload will definitely beat the KV2's derp gun. The SU's on the other side of that rock, so he's pretty safe. And Tiger 2's still got plenty of health too, which is a good sign. The KV2 and the SU-100 don't have a great amount of hit points between them. So the Tiger 2, if he needs to, he can take a shot from that SU and even the T-44 before he needs to worry about anything, because that T-44 isn't on the greatest amount of health either. The Jag Panzer finally comes into the game, killing the SU-100, and he looks like he actually hasn't had a bad game either, with 3 kills to his name. T-44-100, you can see on the minimap, has sort of taken the long way around Nightsight's flag and has gotten around. Looks like he's trying to outmaneuver that Jag Panzer, and it looks like obviously he has. The Jag Panzer is now dead, but they've taken out the KV2, and it's just the Tiger 2 and Nightsight in his 112 hunt down that T-44-100, which when last spotted he was on a very low amount of hit points. Tiger 2 doing the right thing and taking the lead, because he's the one with the health with 500 something odd hit points, and Nightsight only on 235 hit points. Now I don't have a T-44-100. I don't know if 235 hit points is enough to withstand a shot from the Russian medium tank, but he's lucky enough to bounce the first shot that he puts towards him. And the T-44 will be looking at trying to take out Nightsight, but he doesn't. Nightsight picks up his 3rd kill and wins the game in the end. A pretty close result. As you look at the post-game battle results, surprisingly it's a mastery badge. When you think about all those shots that he missed or just bounced on the enemy side at the start of the game, you might be surprised to see that it was a mastery badge, but persistence paid off for Night Sight from AAS Clan, and he waited for his opportunities. He ended up putting a fair amount of damage into the enemy side, as we'll see on the next page. Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for effects, Shell-proof for bouncing all those shots, cool-headed because he survived at least 10 ricochets and penetrations in a row from enemy players, and of course the Steel Wall for getting at least 11 hit points and the most hits from enemy tanks and bouncing at least 1,000 hit points of damage and surviving. As we look at the second page of the post-game battle results, he comfortably topped the scoreboard on damage, 3,429 hit points. Tiger 2 had a good game too with 3,405 hit points, and that's Jay Panther with his 3 kills with 2,300. 1,335 experience, that's base experience for Night Sight in his AAS. He fired 24 shots, 19 hits, so it was pretty accurate, but only 11 went through, so 8 of those shots bounced or just tracked the enemy tanks. 3,429 damage. He received 24 shots, and only 4 of the shots that hit him penetrated. It did damage to his 112, so which gave him a damage blocked by armour score of 6,460. Now that, along with a little bit of detecting, a bit of spotting damage, and his 3,429 damage was enough to give him an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge, and not a bad profitable result too. He fired a little bit of premium ammunition at one stage towards the middle of the game, but he took home 46,000 credits in the premium tank, the Chinese 112. So if you're thinking of getting one, hopefully this video might be able to show you a little bit how to play it and how to maneuver the tank and use its armour, especially in that good hull down position, which Night Sight did very, very well. Thanks for the replay, Night Sight. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this replay. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.